What's going on, guys? It's your boy, and today I am back with another video. I spent Thanksgiving weekend with my family, but I am back again, and I'm editing this video, so you're stuck with me. If you like the topic of today's video, which is about an anime that I bet you have not seen, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we're going to get straight into the content, because this is something that I kind of found while going for a little bit of a rabbit hole. I was kind of mining for some copper and ended up finding some gold, perhaps even diamonds. Something that you might not have heard of in the sphere of video game anime. Video games that have been adapted in anime is not really a new topic. Actually, we've got a couple coming up pretty soon here. One is Nier Automata, and the other is Genshin Impact. Now, if you've watched my Twitch channel at all, you know that I'm quite a big fan of Genshin Impact. My wallet, however, is not so much a fan of Genshin Impact. But that said, it kind of got me thinking of whether this had kind of been done before, and I kind of knew in the back of my head that, you know, this kind of thing has happened before. I was thinking of things like Scarlet Nexus, Persona, things like that like had anime styling or had been made into an anime. Like I knew kind of that it had happened before, but I didn't realize the amount of history that video games had when it comes to being adapted into anime. In particular, some of the older adaptations. For instance, there's a PlayStation game back in the day called Parappa the Rapper. It was a rhythm game. I personally haven't played it, but it was pretty good, had a cult following back in the day, and it actually got an anime adaptation way back before that was really all that common. I was looking through, in fact, to find the subject of this video. I was going to do more of kind of a history of these adaptations, but I got fixated on one in particular, and it was kind of earlier on in the list too. So these things weren't exactly all that popular or well known. This didn't happen a lot, is my point. But the one that I'm going to talk about today is a little bit different because it revolves around a game series that is pretty darn popular and has kind of had a resurgence in popularity as of recently, and that is Animal Crossing. That's right, in 2006, Animal Crossing actually had a movie, an anime movie, that released exclusively in Japan. This was actually to coincide at the time with the release of Animal Crossing Wild World, which was the DS game, I guess. I don't really play Animal Crossing. I kind of looked it up beforehand, but it looks like it was a DS game in the Animal Crossing franchise, and only the second that was part of the series. Now, as Animal Crossing has gotten a lot more popularity today, you might be wondering, how the heck did this happen? Well, let's also talk about the success of the movie, because you might think, okay, it's not here, obviously it just flopped and they decided it wasn't really worth the budget to bring it over here. But that's not true either. In fact, it ended up being the 30th highest grossing film in all of Japan, and that's including domestic releases that ended up coming to the country of Japan. It was actually behind two movies, the second of which was Eragon. Sorry to all of you Eragon fans about that movie. I saw Eragon as a movie. I did not read the book Eragon. Apparently the books are significantly better, but that's a little bit besides the point. What is the point, however, is that it made $16 million in Japan, which isn't exactly the biggest country and definitely doesn't have the biggest reputation for making movies. Now, I guess you could make the case that anime movies are going to do pretty well there. However, making $16 million and being the third best movie during its opening weekend is nothing to scoff at. That only goes to show that it was, in fact, successful. Why haven't you watched it? Why haven't you indulged in Animal Crossing, the anime? Or at least, if you have, you haven't done so in a way that is quite likely official, as long as you don't speak Japanese. Because there has been no official English translation either in any capacity. It's not been released outside of Japan, to my knowledge. And the thing is, it was worked on by Toho, who's one of the biggest kind of anime distributors in terms of international prowess. And then Nintendo themselves had a hand in making it. So it's not like Nintendo outsourced this thing either. Nintendo had a direct hand in making this Animal Crossing movie. And back in 2007, when it really kind of first released, this question was begged as well as to why it won't come here. And Nintendo was pretty direct with their answer, and I'll pull it up here rather than just having me kind of spout it off like I usually do. The following is a response that reader Mike got from Nintendo of America when he asked about the Animal Crossing movie heading our way. And this is in an article from 2007 out of Go Nintendo. It says, currently, there are no plans to release the movie you asked about here in North America. For Nintendo News, follow the link, whatever. But that's it. They were like, no, that's not going to happen. It wasn't even like okay, in the future, maybe we'll kind of hint at it, or maybe it's coming. They just flat out said, upon release of the movie in Japan, no, it's not going to be coming to the US anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that interest in the movie has entirely waned. And in fact, Game Rant did an article about the Animal Crossing movie, not in 2015, not in 2010, but in 2022. And it's with the rise of the anime industry, it only makes sense to the minds of the people at Game Rant that they would release it on a streaming service. And this, for a movie like Animal Crossing, would make a lot more sense, because at least in the mid-2000s, it really wouldn't have made sense for Nintendo to release it theatrically. Yes, Animal Crossing did have a cult following, but even at a limited release capacity for theaters, it really wouldn't have made a lot of sense, and it probably was catered more to a Japanese audience at the time. Anime, in terms of boom, has only happened within the past decade or so, in terms of the multi-billion-dollar industry that it is now. Not to say that anime wasn't popular then, but I think you understand the point that I'm trying to make here. So, for them to do a theatrical release wouldn't have made sense in the United States. But maybe a direct-to-DVD release or some sort of video release, but Nintendo made it very clear in their statement back then that they didn't have any plans to bring it to the US. They didn't even consider it. They didn't think about it. And I think that's because even with a direct-to-DVD release, the cost of materials to put a set like that together for a game that really didn't have the popularity that it does today, and this is something that's mentioned in the Gamer Rant article, is the popularity of Animal Crossing New Horizon in 2020. Animal Crossing was popular before, mildly so, but it really exploded onto the scene during 2020 when everybody was at home and they needed something kind of serene and calm to play, and Animal Crossing New Horizon happened to be that game. Heck, my sister doesn't really even play video games, but she picked up a copy because she wanted to kind of get in on the action of 2020's Animal Crossing craze. So Game Rant says, with all of these factors combined, now that we can put Animal Crossing on a platform that can be viewed by the masses in a way that does not cost Nintendo money to produce, now might be the perfect time. Now, there could be arguments made against it. We all know how Nintendo is about redistributing things in the future. Yeah. I don't exactly have faith that Nintendo will do something like this, especially with something quite as obscure as an Animal Crossing movie that followed the plot of Wild World from 2006 coming to a screen anytime soon. Heck, they have games in the 80s that they still haven't translated to English that I think the masses would enjoy. So, really, my faith in Nintendo to do something like this is very small, but who knows? In the future, we could see something like that, especially with Crunchyroll and Funimation merging and really trying to hoard as many rights to anime as they can, and then you have companies like Amazon Prime and Netflix all trying to get in on the action a little bit, even Disney Plus. So I think this is something that we're going to have to wait and see if it comes to the public eye again, but it is interesting that even now in 2022, for a movie that was so kind of obscure back then, we are finally starting to see some push to bring this movie to the forefront after having it been shelved for nearly 15 years now. So, I know you're just getting a video edited by me right after Thanksgiving, and it's just kind of a quick video on a pretty niche topic. However, I thought this was really particularly interesting and definitely something that I wanted to share with you guys now that we are back. And real quick note before I end this video, we have some huge content coming up here very soon. I'm going to keep it to myself for now, but just trust me, if you've made it to the end of this video, I promise you we have some really cool content coming up within the coming weeks into 2023. So, if you're not subscribed yet, now's a perfect time. But all of that said, I've been Gelswick, and I will see you all next week for another pretty cool video, if I do say so myself.